Nick Shirley just took down CNN. Let's see how.
Call that number, no one answers. I wasn't trying to go inside. There should be a way for somebody to actually be able to call that number and somebody to be able to answer. These aren't real businesses.
This is MAGA YouTuber Nick Shirley. Back at a daycare in Minnesota, he alleged was a fraudulent facility in a now viral video.
People are going to say this is a left or right issue. And so I'm not out here trying to put a twist on things.
Shirley's viral video, released over the weekend, in which he says he's uncovering tens of millions of dollars in fraud at Minneapolis daycares run by the Somali community, was retweeted by Elon Musk and Vice President J.D. Vance.
We're from CNN. Can we talk to you? Do you think that federal law enforcement hasn't done enough? I mean, they would say, look, these fraud cases have been going on, but they've already done like 80 indictments.
And why did I show up one day in Minnesota and go to all these daycares, no children? They're receiving millions of dollars. We have $110 million in fraud in one day.
Intrepid journalists have made shocking and credible allegations of extensive fraud in Minnesota's child care program. We believe the state of Minnesota has allowed scammers and fake daycares to siphon millions of taxpayer dollars over the past decade. Starting today, we require a justification, receipt, or photo evidence before we make a payment.
The Trump administration says it is now withholding all federal child care funding to the entire state. The agency says the state receives $185 million for 19,000 children, and now that money will be gone. And the agency did not specify any alternate plans for families who will be affected.
At the daycare where Shirley showed back up, a stream of children walk inside.
You're saying that this is a fraudulent daycare. There's kids being dropped off right now.
Yes, the commissioner of children literally said a week ago this place was closed.
Did you know
They're
that?
showing face right now.
DHS and the FBI said they were surging resources to Minnesota to investigate what they called suspected fraud sites. This all comes in response to a viral video posted by a MAGA content creator. He claims that he uncovered widespread fraud by Somali-run child care centers in the state. CNN is looking into those claims and has not independently verified the accusations, but the Deputy Secretary of Health and Human Services is taking the allegations at face value. However, the so-called evidence comes from a man who has posted anti-Muslim and anti-immigrant content in the past. CNN's Whitney Wild speaks to the man behind that video and takes a look at his claims.
You can hear how CNN is casting doubt, putting a shadow over his reporting. They should have been doing this a long time ago, and now he's in here doing it. This 23-year-old YouTuber is doing what CNN and Pulitzer Prize winners have been getting patted on the back for years for. He's making seasoned journalists look like children amongst their peers. Nick Shirley is taking down CNN all by himself. This is going to be an interesting time in history for sure.
People are going to say this is a left or right issue. But no, fraud is fraud. And so I'm not out here trying to put a twist on things.
Shirley's viral video, released over the weekend, in which he says he's uncovering tens of millions of dollars in fraud at Minneapolis daycares run by the Somali community, was retweeted by Elon Musk and Vice President J.D. Vance. In the video, Shirley tries to open locked doors and talk to people at various daycares he claims are frauds.
Did you come during their normal operating hours when you came to visit?
The point is that blacked out doors, they can't give you any information. You call that number, no one answers. I wasn't trying to go inside, and there should be a way for somebody to actually be able to call that number and somebody to be able to answer. These aren't real businesses.
But surely you don't think a daycare should just be unlocked. You shouldn't be able to just walk into a
There shouldn't be a
daycare.
reception. Why can't they actually give me information how to enroll a child?
Oh, the pushback from CNN surely shows you how they're eroding right before our eyes. CNN is falling, it's crumbling, and it's going down, and this 23-year-old journalist is the one that's taking them down. It's fantastic. You might ask me why I think this is a good idea, because CNN has been a fraud. It has misrepresented the news, it's misrepresented America, and misrepresented my ideals for as long as they've been on television. They need to get off of the air. So thank you, Nick Shirley, for taking down CNN. Fake news, CNN.
Federal law enforcement has been investigating fraud in Minnesota for several years. Both Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel said on social media they've indicted dozens of defendants. DHS has posted multiple videos of agents they say are conducting a massive fraud investigation.
We're from CNN. Can we talk to you? Do you think that federal law enforcement hasn't done enough? I mean, they would say, look, these fraud cases have been going on, but they've already done like 80 indictments. The cases have been going on, for years.
And why did I show up one day in Minnesota and go to all these daycares, no children, they're receiving millions of dollars. We have $110 million in fraud in one day.
How do you know that all the allegations that you're making are true?
We showed you guys what was happening, and then you guys can go ahead and make your own analysis.
We're coming so we can make our own analysis. Are you 100% sure you're true?
Yeah, I am 100%.
What does that even mean? What a cop-out for CNN. This is why it's called investigative reporting, because we're trying to get to the bottom of things. We're digging up facts. We're putting together a narrative based off of evidence and digging into what is really going on.
CNN is looking into Shirley's claims.
Hi, my name's Whitney Wild. I'm a correspondent for CNN.
We reached out to several of the daycares featured in the now viral video. Only one daycare facility answered and said they are a legitimate business.
Have you seen the videos, purporting that some of these daycares don't have kids inside?
We're able to watch CNN crack the story right here in real time. It's only a wonder that we're seeing a 23-year-old rookie journalist off of YouTube crush CNN at its own game.
Minnesota Republicans say despite the new focus from the Trump administration, they have been sounding the alarm on fraud for years.
We have talked about fraud. We have gotten stories. We've tried to push this forward every way that we can.
A viral video, disputed claims, and their full fallout remains to be seen.
Dozens of fraud cases that DOJ is touting began during the Biden administration. Back in 2022, the U.S. Attorney's Office for Minnesota announced 47 indictments for this massive fraud scheme. Since then, they've indicted more than 30 more people, and in total, they have secured at least 56 convictions. Whitney Wild, CNN, Minneapolis.
Wow. Just wow. Nick Shirley, who broke the story on the Somali child care center, he does the digging. He asks the uncomfortable questions. He puts the facts out there. And now, CNN is investigating him. Let that sink in, just for a moment. Instead of focusing on the issue he exposed, the spotlight magically shifts to the person who exposed it. Funny how that works. When you challenge a narrative, suddenly you're the problem. This isn't new. It's just a pattern. Whistleblowers become controversial. Investigators become targets. Messengers get attacked so the message can be ignored. You don't have to agree with Nick. You don't even have to like him. But when journalists start investigating other journalists for breaking a story, that should concern everyone. Because today it's Nick Shirley. Tomorrow it's anyone who dares to ask the wrong questions. Pay attention.
In the office of Governor Tim Walz and Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan. Our office is located at 130 State Capitol at 75 Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, in St. Paul, Minnesota, 55155. Office open Monday to Friday, 8 o'clock a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. Please message all your name and phone number. Thank you. Have a great day.
Hello, Timmy. Hello, my friend. Timmy Walls, like Dimp on Tim. You're like my best friend. Kidding. You're not my best friend. You're trying to destroy Minnesota, and I will not let you. You said you were a football coach, and you said I coach football, but in other words, you didn't coach football. You were the football. You know what? I'll tell you what, Timmy. You thought that you could fraudulize the entire child care system in Minnesota, and I will not let you. Minnesota will not go to dump because of you. You said you wanted to be vice president of the United States, and I was like, what the hell? He's going to send us to, like, China with the communism and stuff, and I won't let you, Timmy. You and Kamala Harris will never be anything. Goodbye. This is what I said. You cannot do it. Do not dial this number. They might come after you like they're coming after my friend Nick Shirley. You don't want to do it. Just don't do it. You cannot be as brave as I am, Donald J. Trump. Goodbye.